Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. So I'm still under the weather, but this is the most human that I've managed to feel all week. So we need to have some serious catch up. Whilst I've been feeling sorry for myself, I haven't been the only person in this house feeling sorry for themselves because Leela had her surgery to have an abscess that keeps coming back. It's a recurring one removed. She is not happy. She's letting me know that she's unhappy by crying all the time. And it's because she's forced to wear the pink donut. Don't feel sorry for her. It is extremely comfortable. It's much better and less stressful for her than the cone of shame. She's only got one eye, and the last time we had her in it, it freaked her out because she couldn't see a lot of things, as it were, and she kept bumping into everything. This she can sleep in. I know some people always say, oh, what about the surgical vests? Oh, we tried the surgical vest last time. She tore straight through it and straight through her stitches. So she's in this situation because she simply cannot be trusted. Now, as for not being trusted, we've got Harry and Meghan with the Dukedom in one corner, and we've got Prince Andrew and Fergie in the other. Now, Andrew, in light of the new revelations that have come out, not being helped by Virginia Giuffre's book, which has been released, where there are a lot more accusations in there. It's brought everything bubbling to the surface. Public anger towards Andrew is still pretty high. And this, of course, has then led to Andrew saying, I won't use any of my titles. And I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. It's not washing with the public. The public are not happy. Now, whilst this whole Andrew thing, I believe he is being used as a scapegoat by a lot more powerful and political and A-listers, and lots of people were involved with the same friendship, with that same evil character that spent lots of time on his private jets, going to his parties, going to said island. It's not just Andrew, but he is the one that is always pushed forward because it gathers so much worldwide attention. It's a case of look this way, don't look this way. So Andrew is pretty much a sacrificial lamb at the moment, but I can't say it's really undeserved because he's been caught out lying. Both he and Fergie have been caught out lying. They have both continued their friendship with said person, despite them saying that they hadn't. Fergie did it because she wanted to keep working with charities and making money from books. Andrew lied because he still wanted to apparently play with him. Oh, that email is quite damning. I mean, this is the problem with Andrew. This man got sent to prison for committing crimes against a girl that was the same age as his youngest daughter, Princess Eugenie. Fergie took the princesses to celebrate his release from prison, but not like Fergie's obviously had a good judge of character with who she's put her daughters around. And she definitely liked a freebie off of this one character. It turns out that he was bankrolling her for years, which I'd imagine is going to be less of the thousands and more of the millions when this all comes out. It also seems, sadly, which is a real disappointment to me, that Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are going to be implicated because they have gained beneficially from some of the dodgy dealings of their father. Now, I've always said that I don't think that they should be punished for their parents' actions, but if more things are going to come out, Princess Beatrice has been quite, I would say, visible in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. She got a lot of these contacts by traveling with her father when he was a special envoy. He's been caught up in so many dodgy deals. And this is the problem now. It's no longer just about this one particular friendship. Andrew has been deemed a national security risk. And he was many years ago. People told him to end his friendship with this person. He chose not to. But he also was told, stop your friendships with these people. They're suspected of being Chinese spies. So what did Andrew do? I'm going to do what I want to do. And now he's in this massive situation. But this is where Harry and Meghan are just as dangerous as Fergie and Andrew. And the reason I say this is because Andrew and Fergie have just got 20 more years on them. They do. They've got 20 more years on Harry and Meghan, and that is the only difference. When you think about, Andrew's been involved with charities that have been shut down because of money issues, and money's been doing walkies and all sorts of things. Well, look at African parks in Centre Bali. The money, these African charities are now turning out that it's being misspent and people don't know exactly where it was being spent. But then when you think, okay, so Harry's got his charity scandals with the misuse of funds and sort of like dodgy characters, okay. Fergie's love of luxury stays, of hotels, the grandeur and the connections that her title gives her. Well, who does that sound like to you? I mean, the difference is with Fergie, she didn't actually want the paparazzi to follow her around everywhere. Fergie, in many respects, is more discreet with her love of freebies and using her connections to the royal family. She doesn't obviously have paps on speed dial. Meghan likes to make a big show and a spectacle, hence the motorcades and demanding a police escort and all of the other things that comes with them. But that's where Harry and Meghan in some ways are worse than Fergie and Andrew. They like to be grubby and greedy behind the scenes, and this is where it's now becoming a problem for Andrew because everything's coming to the surface. Harry and Meghan are quite blatant about it. Then, of course, you've got Andrew and Fergie's relationship with some nefarious characters. Okay, some of them, Chinese spies, for example. Well, Harry and Meghan haven't exactly got a clean slate here. Maybe not with spies, but it's pretty obvious they don't really care who they associate with as long as they're getting something out of it. Meghan's showing that she's got no scruples when it comes to accepting freebies, a big sparkly pair of diamonds from a Saudi prince. Given the fact that Meghan is a feminist and she's all for empowering other women, you think that she'd be concerned with Saudi's treatment of women who are seen less than second-class citizens. Plus, this particular prince at the time was in the news for apparently ordering a hit on a journalist several weeks beforehand. Look, when they went to Nigeria, they took free flights off of a Nigerian man that is a wanted fugitive by the United States. They didn't care. They got free stuff. Think of all of the free stuff that Harry and Meghan collected off of Nigerian people when they were out there. Or Colombia. Do you think that Harry and Meghan won't take free stuff off of people if it's offered to them? Because they don't have the brain power in there that one day you will have to pay the piper. They're not all giving it to you for free. When Harry and Meghan first did their first dramatic escape and they went to Canada, it turned out the house that they stayed in Canada, in Vancouver, it was linked to Russian oligarchs. I mean, the house that they bought at a heavy discount, again, another Russian shady dealer. I mean, he's since passed away. But the connections are there that Harry and Meghan don't seem to think things through. So how are they any different to Andrew and Fergie? Even when Andrew had stepped down, the Queen made him step down from all of his honorary roles, and obviously Fergie, well, she was divorced. It's a very weird setup between those two, isn't it? She lives with him, they're still married, but they're friends. I don't know. It's something I don't want to think too deeply about. But they weren't doing fake royal tours to other countries, pretending that they are still representing the crown. They kept their shady dealings, pretty much underground. It's only now that it's all coming out because of Andrew Lowney's book that people are realising all of the things that they've gotten away with. But at least they were discreet about it. I'm not giving them a free pass. I'm not saying that they're better, of course. I mean, they've done things that are worse. But then in many ways, I think Harry and Meghan have done things that are far worse than Fergie and Andrew. They tried to tear down the monarchy. They lied. They lied about Meghan's treatment within the royal family to turn the public against the monarchy. They tried to burn it to the ground. They dubbed the Queen's speech on Netflix. People say, well, that was down to Netflix. Come on. You know that Harry and Meghan had a lot of control over things that were being said. As long as they were made out to be victims, they did not care how much the other people at Netflix trashed the royals. They wanted the drama. Fergie, for all of her faults, and I'm sure that she's got quite a few, she was the one that ended up with the Queen's corgis because she loves the Queen's corgis. She was loyal to the Queen. Yes, she was the original Duchess of Disaster, but in different ways. I feel like Andrew and Fergie just embarrassed themselves. They've only really ever damaged their own reputations by their actions. They don't try and tear down and destroy the reputations of their family. Fergie and Andrew got themselves into so much of this mess because of their love of freebies. They will take anything that they can get off of anybody that's offering something, okay? How are Harry and Meghan any different? And I'm not comparing, obviously, this man with this man, but he was a billionaire that they did not know. Tyler Perry said that he didn't know them. Meghan contacted him and said, please help us. And he came in like a knight in shining armour with his private jet, whisked them away to one of his many residential homes, like a palace. I mean, he really did rescue them, didn't he? And then he's got awful allegations circulating about him. Now, I'm not saying that they are true. These are just allegations at the time. But what I'm saying is, Fergie and Andrew associate themselves with lots of nefarious people because they've got lots of money and it's biting them in the arse. What's to say that Harry and Meghan, and again, I'm not saying Tyler Perry specifically, but what's to say if they've associated with him when they didn't know him, how many other people have Harry and Meghan taken freebies off of? You've got to pay the piper. It will come. And this is where I think they are just as dangerous for the monarchy as Andrew and Fergie. As I said, they've just got 20 more years of causing problems. The other thing where I think they are different and in some ways worse than Fergie especially is because Harry and Meghan caught constant media attention. They try and overshadow the royals constantly. So every little scandal, everything that they're caught up in, every embarrassment or negative story is associated to the royal family because they're constantly in the news whenever the royals are in the news. Now, obviously, real royalists and monarchists, know that Harry and Meghan are completely separate. But for other people that are looking in from the outside, they're like, gosh, the British royal family have got some real scumbags attached to them. This is where I'm saying they are like two gangrene toes. You have a choice. You cut off the toes when they're infected or you lose the whole foot. And I, like many other people, are beginning to see the damage that Harry and Meghan and Andrew and Fergie are causing on the monarchy as a whole. Even MPs in Parliament are now discussing having Andrew's dukedom stripped officially. It isn't good enough that Andrew could put out a statement saying, all the allegations are wrong. Nothing is actually true what's being said about me. However, I will therefore no longer use my title or the honours which have been conferred on me. Like he's doing the honourable thing. He's not doing the honourable thing. He should have done that a long time ago when he paid Virginia, X amount of money. He paid it off to make it go away, but he didn't. Now, many of you do know that obviously the king can't make the decision to strip a dukedom. It has to go through Parliament. It has to go through the Houses of Commons and I think the Houses of Lords as well. It has to go through a two-stage process. But interestingly, Emily Andrews, a news reporter, spoke to someone in the Commons and she has said that the whole process would take a day. So King Charles, not directly, but palace sources put out that the king's very, very cross with Andrew. Well, good. He should be very cross with Andrew. But he has told him that, if he plays up, then he might take his titles. Right. So you're punishing him like you would a toddler. You don't get any you don't get any dessert after dinner. It's like saying, oh, you can't come to the family parties. It's not a good enough punishment. Andrew is a risk to national security. He's been doing dodgy deals, links to Chinese spies, links to all sorts of nefarious things. The FBI want him over in America to give statements, which he still to this day refused to even help the victims of said person. He must have seen things, but he's not willing to talk about it at all. And I'm sorry, I just find that really disgusting given the nature of everything that happened. There are several MPs that have put him through different motions to have his dukedom officially revoked properly. You've got one, the SNP, the Scottish National Party. They've got 21 signatories across multiple parties that are saying that he should be stripped. And then you've got another 11 MPs, I think it is. They are fighting to give the reigning monarch, Harry is now sweating as well, the powers to remove the dukedoms themselves without having to take up parliamentary time, which, as Emily Andrews said, one day, I'm pretty certain the lack of time that most of our MPs spend in Parliament, they could stretch to do something like that. As I said, I bet Harry's like, ooh, this could be bad when my brother becomes king. But this is why Meghan, I think, is now becoming more erratic and desperate, which I'll talk about in my next video. But you can see what I'm saying here, that I think Harry and Meghan are just as dangerous by the actions that they do, the things they associate themselves with. As long as they have that dukedom, where he is the Duke and she's the Duchess, they are like titles that permanently tie them to the institution. When you think about Harry and Meghan's titles given, the dukedom given to them in the first place, that was gifted to them to cement their position as working royals. If they'd have told the Queen the truth, that they wanted to go to America and make lots of money off their association with the royals, she certainly wouldn't have given them the dukedom. They knew that. They knew that. They lied. They literally pulled their very own heist on our elderly Queen. They did that because they knew that without the titles, they wouldn't be as marketable for a US market. That alone, when they declared Megxit, should have been enough to say, well, do you know what? You don't need the job titles anymore because you're not going to be working for the firm. But the Queen at the time, when the Sandringham Summit agreement was up, she didn't know that they were going to do Oprah. Thankfully, she was gone before Netflix ever aired and Spare could be read to the world, because I'd imagine that would have broken her already fragile heart, that Harry and Meghan went out of their way to hurt as much as possible. I think after all of the attacks that those two did on the monarchy, nobody would have blamed Charles if he'd have turned around and said to Harry, right, give up your dukedom, or, you know, I'm gonna try and take it from you officially, like what he's apparently done with Andrew, which I just don't think is a strong enough threat. Telling Andrew you better not use your titles is the same as telling Meghan you should not use your HRH. Meghan just still did it anyway. Who's to think that Andrew and Fergie can be trusted any more than Harry and Meghan, except for the fact that they didn't actually try and burn down the monarchy with lots of lies. But this is where I'm saying that they both need the dukedom stripping. The dukedom belongs to the men. The women get to call themselves duchesses. Andrew and Fergie have said that they won't use it. It's not enough. And I think it should be taken from both of them. The way I view it, the monarchy, the working monarchy, it's a company. And these are job titles given to people that join the company that are going to work. They're going to represent the Crown, the UK, the Commonwealth. And then the moment one of them is sacked in disgrace and the other one quits and tries to torch the company to the ground, they should have had everything taken from them. The perks, the benefits, the association to the company. And that dukedom is an association. It is a direct link to the company. Having them on the same page as the working royals is not a good look. For them to have put out a news announcement that they will be updating it shortly, they had the perfect opportunity to remove Harry and Meghan and Prince Andrew at the same time to say this is for working royals only. But no, all they did was stop Andrew from being called the Duke of York. Still Prince Andrew, still on there, directly underneath the King and Queen, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, the Princess Royal, and of course, Catherine and William. It is a direct association that they somehow, on some level, still represent the UK, the Commonwealth, and I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. The time has come, my friends. Those manky toes need to be amputated. So on that note, guys, I will be back with you very soon. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I will be back with Meghan's spaghetti. I'll tell you all about it. See you soon. Bye.